have in the studio with me two devices that sit in the budget category, but they don't exactly play by budget rules. And honestly, they don't look like budget devices either. Or maybe budget devices are actually just looking good these days. Just seeing them makes me excited about what budget devices are and makes me excited about diving into what they can do. All I'll say for now is they give you exactly what you want and maybe more than you expect at this price. Whether that's a good thing or not, we're going to find out in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. The unboxing experience is pretty much the same for both these phones. For the Smart 10 Plus, when you take out the film, you get the phone with some specs on it, a licensed by Qualcomm sticker, but that's not the processor maker, an 18-watt adapter, SIM ejector tool, USB-C charging cable, but it's not USB-C end-to-end, and you get a case for your phone. The Hot 60i, on the other hand, also comes with the phone itself, the case as well, but this time it's a 45-watt charger compared to the 18-watt on the Smart 10 Plus. You get your SIM ejector tool, a headphone which you don't get on the Smart 10 Plus, and of course a charging cable, and it's also similar to the Smart 10 Plus. USB-C on one end, not USB-C on the other. What you get in the box is pretty much what you need to operate these phones, but some people might still want to throw in a screen protector and maybe some wireless earbuds if that's what you prefer. Let's talk design. I think this is where both these phones make their first real impression. So the color I have here for both of them, titanium silver, but there are other colors of course, and I think that they are really cool in this color. The ones I have here catch the light nicely and it gives the phone a more polished look than I expect. So let's start with the Hot 60i. At the back, you've got three sort of cameras stacked vertically, each one surrounded by a glossy silver ring that pops against the matte finish on the back. Beside the camera module, you see an LED flash, also aligned vertically. The whole back keeps things simple with just the Infinix branding running across it, also vertically. If you're familiar with the Infinix brand and you've seen our video on the Infinix Hot 60 Pro Plus, which is probably one of the slimmest phones in the world right now, you see that there's such a very striking resemblance. The 60i is in the Hot 60 line and the design is pretty much the same from the back until you look at both of them on the side and you see what you get for a little more cash. For 120,000 naira more to be exact, you get this very thin, more advanced device, but that's not what we're here for today. We already have a video on the Infinix Hot 60 Pro Plus, which you can watch after this one. We're talking about the Hot 60i and the Smart 10 Plus today. The Smart 10 Plus, on the other hand, has a slightly different design. The camera module here is horizontal, it's sitting neatly at the top of the phone, the back of the phone, and the flash is also horizontal. The rest of the back is left minimal, just like the Hot 60i, with the same matte finish, and this has this horizontal Infinix inscription. One small detail I really like about the Smart 10 is that around the edges, there's this cutout that almost looks like a clearer matte, making the center look a little frosted and distinct when you tilt it. It is subtle, but it gives the phone some extra design quirks. I like that for both phones, turning the flashlight on shows a glow around the edges, and that is not bad. At least in the dark, you get to see a different side of your devices. From here onwards, the design of both these phones feel pretty similar. Let me show you what I mean. Up top, you have the speakers. It is two dashes on the top, same for the both of them. On the left side is just the SIM tray, which is a dual SIM and micro SD card slot. Same for the both of them. At the bottom, you'll find a headphone jack, a microphone, a USB-C port, another speaker grill, 4 dashes this time, same for the both of them. Over on the right, you've got the power button, which is also the fingerprint scanner, and they are quite responsive. Then you've got the volume buttons. Same for the both of the wait. The Hot 60i adds a dedicated shortcut key, and if you press and hold on it, you get the full axe assistant, which is what you can use for with DeepSeek R1. And if you double tap that button, it is the one tap button, so you can open your camera, mute your phone, record your screen, open a custom app of your choice, and it's pretty neat. I like that that button is very customizable. So the Smart 10 Plus doesn't have that. That's the only difference around these phones. But the Smart 10 Plus also has its own assistant as well, the same assistant. Now when you get to the front of both phones, you have a punch hole selfie camera, another speaker grill at the top, and even front-facing flashlight. It is subtle, but it helps to lighten selfies in low light. Also, both phones are capable of being infrared remote control devices, so they can control your ACs or TVs and the likes. Let's talk build quality. Both phones feel light in the hand, and in terms of sturdiness, let's just say you get something palatable here. Infinix does promise durability, but the question is, how durable are they really? Okay, so both phones are rated IP64, meaning that they can handle splashes of water and are resistant to dust. With your 60i, Infinix even claims that there's a drop resistance from 1.5 meters. That's like your head or your shoulder area to the ground. The Smart 10 Plus on its end is protected with Gorilla Glass. That said, I can't say how many of these falls that these phones can take before showing significant damage. So my advice is handle them with care, use the protective case that comes in the box, maybe get a screen guard or screen protector. There's a mild protective film right out of the box on both screens of this phone, and that would help with like covering some scratches in the meantime. The Smart 10 Plus comes with a 6.67 inch screen, while the Hot 60i is slightly bigger, 6.7 inches. It's ever so slight. Both phones support a 120Hz refresh rate, the kind of smoothness you usually see on more expensive phones, but now they're available on these budget devices. So you get better scrolling, navigation, gaming on some titles. They feel faster, especially compared to most budget phones that are stuck at 60 Hz. Brightness is also decent. Both of them, the Hot 60i and the Smart 10, have 700 nits of peak brightness, so it's bright enough to stay readable under sunlight, maybe not under very harsh sunlight. The bezels are still there as you'd expect at this level, but they don't really get in the way. You still have plenty of space to enjoy videos, apps, and whatever it is that you're doing on your phone. Also, the Hot 60i can play 4K videos, while the Smart 10 Plus tops out at 720p. I find this interesting because both these phones actually have a 720p display, in terms of display resolution itself, but this one can somehow play 4K videos, and it's sharp, but I noticed that there's like some ever so slight lag. As mentioned earlier, the Hot 60i has a vertical camera setup, while the Smart 10 Plus has a horizontal one. For these phones, what looks like multiple lenses is really just one single usable lens. Starting with the Hot 60i, you get only 150 megapixel main sensor, and honestly, it does a fair job. The result is usually sharper and cleaner than what you would first see on the screen, and this is due to processing. I like that the images don't feel overly edited, the colors look somewhat natural too, and it's not too saturated, and under good lighting, you would only see minimal noise. It's not perfect, but being a budget device, I think it's decent. Of course, you get AI features here too, scene recognition being one of them. Basically, they try to figure out where you are shooting and adjust the cameras to give you the best possible results. The 8 megapixel selfie also holds up fine with the Infinix Hot 60i. The images look decent. Processing does make the selfies feel slightly touched up. On the Smart 10 Plus, we are working with an 8 megapixel main sensor on the back and an 8 megapixel selfie camera. It does better in decent lighting, but I noticed that it's better when you are closer to the subject, and under bright outdoor lighting, it definitely performs better. Just like the Hot 60i, it gets some extra AI features like scene detection as well, beauty mode, low light optimization. For video, both phones record at up to 2K 30 frames per second with results that match what you'd see in the still photos. The Hot 60i does feel a bit more versatile overall if you are into casual videography. One subtle difference I noticed is that the Smart 10 Plus leans towards a cooler tone where the whites look bluer, while the Hot 60i has a slightly warmer tone. So really, it does come down to whether you prefer cool or warm, but you can always adjust this thing later on. Both phones have decent stereo speakers. Watching a movie at mid-volume in a quiet room was loud enough, and this is what it sounded like.
The best that never was. But I see possibility. The best that never was. But I see possibility.
Thanks to the DTS audio enhancements, both phones deliver surprisingly good sound. What I mostly use this to do is watch a lot of YouTube videos, and while they didn't sound, the most professional, they definitely sounded good and usable. The microphones on both phones also held up well for calls and voice recordings, which is always important. Oh, and there's Ultra Link. So what does Ultra Link do? Ultra Link lets you make calls, send text and voice notes without mobile data, as long as the other device also has the app installed and is compatible. I still think Ultra Link is an interesting and thoughtful feature that they've added to both these phones. I talked about it in my video on the Infinix Hot 60 Pro Plus, so watch that to get a sense of what Ultra Link can do. Okay, so both phones run on Android 15 with XOS 15.1. The Smart 10 Plus is powered by the Unisoc T7250 processor. It's a budget chipset built for everyday use. It comes with 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. It's expandable all the way up to 2 terabytes with a micro SD card storage. In day-to-day use, multitasking was fine, and even heavier titles like Call of Duty Mobile, Diablo Immortal. They were playable, though you will notice the limits as you play for longer hours. The Hot 60i steps things up with the Helio G81 Ultimate chip, paired with the 8 gigs of RAM plus memory expansion and 128 gigabytes of storage, also expandable by micro SD. And Infinix also says that it gets better navigation. With games, you get correct motion controls during, playing. If you're playing like Call of Duty, PUBG, or Free Fire on this phone, it will feel noticeably smoother. There will be fewer frame drops compared to the Smart 10 Plus. In short, both devices held their ground for the price, but if you want heavier multitasking and smoother gaming, the Hot 60i is the clear pick here. Now on the software side, you also get Folax, Infinix's AI voice assistant. It can handle writing, summarizing, answering questions, or solving quick problems that you throw at it. To use Folax, you just need to press and hold the power button for a second or two on the Smart 10 Plus or the dedicated green button on the Hot 60i, and you can just swipe it away to dismiss it if you press it by mistake. There's also an inbuilt translation app which is really handy. You can translate text, even documents there. Some of the AI features do come with paid plans, but they are fairly reasonably priced. I really like that both of these phones lean heavily into the big battery life. The Smart 10 Plus has a big 6000 mAh battery paired with an 18-watt charger. You already know that it's going to last, and honestly, you can easily get through a full day or more on a single charge depending on your usage. Now in the studio, we drained the battery to test it, and we started from 56%. It took nearly 6 hours of heavy use before it finally hit 0. But here's the catch: charging from 0 to 100% took around 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's not the fastest, but with that battery size, you won't be charging your phone very often anyway. The Hot 60i, on the other hand, comes with a slightly smaller 5200 mAh battery, but the kicker is that it comes with a 45-watt fast charger. Infinix claims it will charge up to 50% in 24 minutes, and in our test, we actually got 53% in 25 minutes. And that's something you almost never see in this price range. I like when brands beat their advertised expectations. Overall, it went from 0 to 100% in just 53 minutes, and I think that's quite impressive. Half the time to get this to 100%. And the good thing is that the battery drain on this one was almost the same as the Smart 10 Plus. Heavy use should get you through most of the work day. So if you wake up at 8 AM and you start using your phones heavily, they should drain out at about 10 PM. And if you're not using your phones heavily, you're on your way to a full day of use. The Hot 60i supports reverse charging, so you can top up smaller devices with this one when you need to. In short, both phones are pretty solid, just with different strengths. Infinix clearly isn't positioning these as just another set of budget phones. With features like 120Hz display, AI integration, charging speed is something you don't find at this price level. But what do you guys think? Did Infinix just set a new bar for what budget devices should do, or do you feel they could have done better? Do drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know. As far as pricing, the Smart 10 Plus goes for 126,000 naira, while the Infinix Hot 60i starts at around 143,900 naira. And this is for the 4GB and 128GB model. So which one are you going to be picking? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, give it a like, and make sure you check out this video for the Infinix Hot 60 Pro Plus review. I'll see you guys in that video.